Tim Stack. I'm a senior writer at Entertainment Weekly. I'm very clumsy. But I am going to be moderating this panel with Ryan Murphy, the creator of American Horror Story and Scream Queens, and some of his cast. Some of his great actors. So I think we're going to start. I'd like to start with the man himself, Ryan Murphy. There he is. That's fine. Ryan Murphy. Yay! And then I'd like.
Where do you want me to go?
Don't fall. Oh, come up close to here. You can come near me.
Okay.
Don't fall. I fell.
I won't.
I fell. This is not good.
You fell?
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan, I'm real classy. And then I'd like to welcome Ms. Kathy Bates.
Yeah. We should have Kathy.
Okay, help me.
Watch out.
Thank you, honey.
Kathy Bates, welcome.
Okay, hold
Thank
on. I'm
you.
going to push you this way.
Okay.
And then the very handsome Mr. Matt Bomer.
Yay!
Sit here. Yay!
And then Chanel Oberlin, Emma Roberts.
Yay! We have to help the young ones too.
Young people.
Come on, I'm helping everybody.
Help me.
Oh, help everyone. That's wonderful. Well, I fell. And then Leah Michelle.
Yeah.
The crazy Hester.
I'm helping you with your heels.
And then Kappa's new president, Zayday Kiki Palmer.
Yeah. I'm helping you.
Okay.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, you made it good.
Welcome,
He's going
everyone.
back. Oh.
Welcome.
Hey, Cakes. Hey, Boo.
I think I'm bleeding. That's fun.
Are you?
No,
Where'd you
Alright.
fall?
No, I just fell. I tried to jump up the steps and I think my pants are too tight and I fell.
Oh.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I do stunts for this job. It's fine. So welcome. This is the first EW Fest. And Ryan, I love having you here because you used to work for Entertainment Weekly.
I did. I was a reporter.
Yeah. Woo. So one day I'll be Ryan Murphy, maybe.
You can.
Maybe. Wait, do you remember what you worked on? Like what stories you did?
The first story I wrote on was a cover story about a Johnny Depp movie called Benny and June.
Yes. Yes.
And I was 100% rewritten, which was great because I obviously needed to be, but not completely rewritten.
Okay.
But I mean, I loved working there.
Okay.
And I did a lot. I worked on and off, I think, for 2 years. I did a lot of news and note stuff.
Okay, sure.
I spent a lot of time writing about who's the it girl. I remember I did an article about it girl of the moment, Marissa Tomei. That's how long ago. And I love her, but she was just starting out. It was like who to watch, but I had a great time. I loved being a journalist, and I did a lot of stuff for different magazines, but EW was always my favorite.
Yeah. Did you guys have fun jobs like that starting out? Did you have like interesting, fun? I mean, you're all actors, so it's probably mostly roles.
I worked at a bat mitzvah dress shop when I was 17.
Oh, that's dope.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that. I would like to know more about that.
Great. Another time.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay. I like that. But there was like a lot of sequins though.
There was a lot. It was New Jersey, bat mitzvahs. Yes.
I love that. Anyone else have kind of crazy jobs, first jobs?
I was an actor when I was 9.
There you go.
Crazy job.
There you go.
job.
Yeah. There you go. I like that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
yeah.
I worked in the payroll department at the Museum of Modern Art.
Really?
Ooh, nice.
No.
Kathy
Then
Bates.
they asked me to be, if I wanted to study, be an accountant, and I went,
Good job.
What about you, Matt? Did you ever have any crazy jobs?
I worked in the gas pipeline with my brother, which
Oh my
people would not
God.
normally assume about me. It was very blue collar.
Wow.
And I also interned at a place at an advertising agency called Mesner, Viteri Berger, McNamee Schmetterer.
What?
And I had to answer the phones there
Wow.
and say every title. every time.
That's good. That's a good probably technique though for acting. Like it's probably good to
Like
look at those words.
addiction.
Addiction.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
got to work on my phonetics.
That's good. Yeah. Ryan, I want to know, you created obviously both these shows, so many shows. Where do you get inspiration from? Like, is there one place you go? Like, do you go to like the library? Do you go to like Le Pan Quotidian? Like, do you go like is there something? Is there a key thing for you for inspiration?
It's happened different ways in my career. I either have the slow burner, which was American Horror Story was a very slow burner. I pitched that to John Landgraf before Glee happened. And I didn't pitch it to say, let's do it. I said, I have this idea and I'm working on it. What do you think? And he had an idea, and then 3 years later I walked in and said, okay, I figured it out. So I've had those. And then I have the bolt out of the blue ideas, which are something that comes more fully formed. Scream Queens was that.
Yeah.
It was the title and a concept and the idea that every year, there would be sort of 4 survivors and they would go to the next venue. So I've had both.
Yeah.
Both.
I mean, when he told you guys about Scream Queens, was this a no-brainer for you? I mean, Leah, you obviously, and Emma too, you had been on American Horror Story. But was it like, did you guys just say, yes, I'm totally on board?
Yep.
Yeah, we fell in love. I mean, for me, he called me out of the blue, and just from the title Scream Queens, I was like, yes, whatever that is, it sounds like something I definitely want to do. And then he told me Jamie Lee Curtis, Leah Michele, told me Chanel Oberlin, which the name alone was like, okay, whatever you want me to do. That sounds hilarious. And I think what Ryan does so well is like comedy, and I love that he's infusing so much comedy in the show. And it makes it so much fun to go to work every day.
Definitely.
Yeah. I know, Leah, were you still on, was Glee wrapping up when you heard about this? Or?
We were just starting our final season.
Okay.
When Ryan called me.
Yeah.
That long ago?
Yeah, it was October. We'd
That's right.
started the show in like August or something.
right.
Yeah.
The final season, and Ryan called, and he was so sweet in saying that we wanted to continue working together, and that there was a new show, and with Emma and Jamie Lee and a neck brace. And I didn't know. And that's it. And I just said yes. I would have said yes anyways, whatever it was. But I think it's such an honor, and especially to really have people see me play such a different character right out of the gate as an actor is really the greatest, blessing in this business.
Definitely.
Your facial responses are so funny, and has that always been, have you always been good at making faces? Like Hester's responses to what's going on are just priceless, I think.
Thanks.
And so have you just always been funny like that?
I watched a lot of Saturday Night Live growing up.
Yeah.
I really felt like Gilda Radner and Sherry O'Terry, Molly Shannon, like these women that played these very over-the-top physical comedy characters, Mary Catherine Gallagher and all of the, that. And but the neck brace does 90% of the job. I mean, it's squished so up on my neck, and no matter what I do, and so it's actually the majority of the time I'm trying to figure out how to do less, because it's already kind of so much that I want her to still be likable and real.
Yeah.
So it's a
Hilarious.
delicate
She started
balance.
braiding my hair in a scene once. I was talking, and then we watched playback, and she's braiding my hair in the scene. I was like, "You're a genius. So anything you do, it's amazing." It was so funny. I was like, I didn't even realize she was just braiding my hair while I was talking to someone. It was so
You were
funny.
talking to Glenn.
Yeah, I was talking to Glenn.
Some would call it scene stealing too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kiki, what made you want to be part of this show? Because you're new to the Ryan Murphy world.
Yeah. Ryan. I fell in love with American Horror Story season 1.
Yeah.
And then I realized after I was obsessing over the show that he also was the one that did Nip Tuck and also was the one that did Glee. And so I was like, oh, this dude's off the charts. Where have I been? You know what I mean? And so, it happened after I did Cinderella. I, was on vacation, and this was actually my first real adult vacation, so I'm probably gonna go on vacation more since this happened. But I got a
Keep
call.
telling yourself that vacations bring you.
So I get a call from my agent. He's like, Ryan's doing this new show, and he's thinking about having you a part of it. And I'm like, get off my phone with these lies.
Geeky idea.
And then I met with him, and he was just, he has such a chill vibe. He's very like, what are you into? Okay, I already know the character. Wonderful. Talk to you later. And I'm like, whoa, this was the quickest, thing ever. And then next thing you know, I'm in New Orleans with these crazy cats.
Kiki's the most fun person on set, obviously.
Matt, you did one episode of Freak Show. And in that episode, you were naked and then murdered by Finn Whitrock, and you still decided to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that, were you concerned about what would happen on Hotel, or is that part of the fun?
I guess I figured, well, what could happen that was worse than that? But technically we were in our tidy whities.
That's true. You were tidy whities. Sorry.
But no,
Not
it
naked.
was. I had a blast. I had an incredible experience down there, and I got to meet so many of the denizens of the world of that show and that season, and I loved everyone I met and the vibe on set and how creative it was and how they actually wanted input from the actors and the director. It felt like theater to me in a lot of ways, and working with Finn, who I adore and trust implicitly, and we'd worked on The Normal Heart together, and so I immediately, I think, texted Ryan and just said I had the time of my life on the show. Thank you, and give me more death and nudity and punishment.
And Kathy, you asked Jessica Lange to kind of put you in touch with him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I saw driving down Beverly Boulevard was a white billboard with a man in a rubber suit on one corner and a pregnant woman at the other corner, and I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, I have to see it. I have to watch this. And so I started watching, and then there was Jessica, and I was like, oh my God. So my show was canceled, and I said, let's have lunch. And so I said, tell Ryan, I would just love to do a part on his show. So, and then Ryan called and pitched me the most amazing character, a woman who really lived, and
A couple of times.
and
For which she won an Emmy.
should have thanked Ryan.
It's okay, I got over it.
Anyway, and then I got invited back, and that was a call to play the bearded lady, and I hung up the phone. I was like, okay, what the fuck? And then thankfully I was brought back this season, and I hope to be brought back
Indeed.
in many more.
So how does one, I sort of know this story, but so Gaga's involvement, obviously, she's on the season of Hotel. She just like cold called you, right? She like called you,
She
was you on a
did.
construction, you were like on a construction site or something.
Yeah, I was on a construction site. I'm building a house with my husband, and the phone rang, and I did not recognize the number, and I picked it up, and someone literally said, please hold for Gaga. But that's all they said, and then I was like, what, is this a fucking joke? What is it? I was literally cold called, and then she got on the phone with that amazing voice, and she said that she was a fan of the show and that she had watched the show and that she thought we had a similar sensibility, and she had studied acting but hadn't really pursued it, and she had decided that she wanted to pursue it, and would I write something for her small so she could sort of test it out. And I said, okay. And then I thought about it, and I called her back a month later, and I had a part. I said, but it's sort of 6 to 8 episodes. And she said, well, okay, well, I'll rejigger my world to do it, because she loved the part, which was the Countess. And then we got into it, and I said, I didn't really tell you this, but it's actually the whole season. Will you do it? Because somebody like that who's so busy with her music world, and so I sort of had to seduce her little by little. But she's just become, as Matt and Kathy can tell you, just an amazing collaborator, and everybody loves her, and she's there to play, and she's in it to win it, and
Awesome.
she's super prepared.
Yeah.
And I think she's loved being a part of a community. She's talked about this before, but she felt, I think before she came on the show, a little bit at a place in her career with a previous management group, a lot of people saying, well, don't be yourself. Don't be you, be that. Try and be that. So on our show, what we try and do, what I try and do is say, no, I want you to be you. What do you think? What do you want to do? How do you want to push yourself? Which I try and do with all actors. So I feel like
That's seriously what he does.
she felt embraced as an artist. That's what I tried to do.
Yeah. And Kathy, you told me, I remember on the set of Hotel, she scared the bejesus
yeah,
out
the
of
very
you,
first
right?
scene we
First
did,
scene, yeah.
and it was a tiny thing she did. It was the scene where in the very first episode, where she slits Agnetha's throat, and I'm standing there, and all she does is just walk past.
And you're shaking.
Yeah, but this is what she did, like the
Yeah.
third take. Okay, you're me. Okay? And you're looking at her, and she's got this Joan Crawford, what do you call those? Shoulder pads for days, and the turban and everything. And so she had walked past me, and the last time she went like that.
That's right, she looked directly through
She
your
looked
soul.
directly, she did. She looked
Icon
right
to
through my
icon.
soul.
Yeah.
And she just scared the fucking shit out of me. And I thought, oh my God, we are in such trouble. We are in such trouble.
Yeah.
She's so much fun. And she is play. If somebody said, describe her in one word, I would say playful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Full of play. She just wants to play.
Yeah. And Matt, one of your first scenes with her was a foursome, as happens, I was on set for that. I mean, what was that like to shoot? I mean, did you say hello first to her? Like, were you like, oh, hello, and now we're naked, and
Well, she's incredibly disarming, and she
Yeah.
had Finn and I over to her house before just to have dinner with the three of us, and I realized very quickly how prepared she was and how she was really approaching this character from a trained actor's point of view. And so by the time we got there, I think I was able to sort of drop the iconography and just relate to her as we had discussed our characters would relate to each other. And it's definitely surreal.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that doesn't really sink in until maybe after you've done it and it airs and you realize that this is someone who every single person in the world wants to know what they're wearing the next day, much less what happens when you're in a four-way with them. So, no, she's great. I adore her, and I'm always so fascinated to watch the cut of the episode because she really changes it up so much from take to take. She's so courageous and intelligent, which is a great combination to have as an actor with someone you're working with. It keeps everything really on a knife's edge, and so I could not adore her more, and I'm glad we got to do a foursome. I'm glad we got to do all the scenes we got to do together.
Yeah. And she threw like a kick-ass pool party, right?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like to be at a pool party at Lady Gaga's house?
Well, I have to say, because I was the first one there, and you're always afraid to be the nerd,
Yeah.
And
You
I
were
kept
not
like,
the nerd.
no, wait a minute. So, but in this case, I really lucked out. So I rang the doorbell, and they said, just a minute. And so then they let me in, and there's this big foyer, and there's this curving staircase. And she descended the staircase, looking through my soul, every step of the way, in a fishnet, silver, and Cleopatra,
remember, yeah.
thong, and Cleopatra diamond collar with her hair like Veronica Lake.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, that's the Countess.
Yeah.
Well, she was at that
That's
party.
what she did,
really
yeah.
was.
Also how she is, how she lives, like, you are never disappointed with her. Like, you can definitely get person to person, but she is larger than life. She's a rock star. She lives like a rock star. She brings all that to the table, and that's what that evening was like for me.
Yeah.
Bloody pool.
Bloody Pool. She
Yeah.
art directed.
That
It
was
was Angela
crazy.
Bassett's
I got to go
birthday.
too. I got my way in there.
Yeah.
I was at your concert in Paris, like waiting outside for a ticket 4 years ago, and now I'm in your pool with you. I was like, this is bizarre. I was like, what's going on right now?
That's so crazy. I love that.
She's an incredible hostess, by the way.
Oh, she really is.
She's not someone who's inaccessible in any way, even though she really kind of has always been in character when I've spent time with her at her home. She takes time to be with every single person there, make sure they're looked out for, they're having a good time. I mean, she's just so smart. She knows
There's a reason they
exactly.
call her lady.
That's
Right.
right. And she knows what her given circumstances are and who she's supposed to be every single moment of
And
the
she
day.
walked me to my car. I couldn't believe it. And there's gravel there, and I said, oh, you don't have, with your heels, you don't have to walk on the gravel. She said, I can walk on gravel with my platforms.
She can.
Took me in my
Oh,
car,
she's the
closed
best.
the door,
She's the
waved
best.
goodbye. I was like, oh my God. She was raised right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her parents have actually been on set, and they are amazing folk.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Emma, when you're sort of inhabiting Chanel, do you ever, like, when you say, because she's mean, do you ever,
She's
like...
mean?
She's a little mean. She's like a little mean. But do you ever feel bad, like, about what you're saying? Like, do you ever, like, do you give hugs afterwards? Or are you like, oh, sorry about that. That was a
Yes.
real... Like,
No.
sorry for calling you, you know, like... You know,
I
I think like, you called someone Fatty Gyllenhaal or something, or Haggy Gyllenhaal. Haggy Gyllenhaal.
There's definitely some mean comments being made. I'm constantly hugging the girls for being like, is it okay? Is it okay? To Kiki, I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? But mostly to Abigail,
Yeah.
who plays Chanel number
I
5.
know, she gets... Yeah.
Because we've been doing
it
scenes
all.
where I'll be like berating her, and then after all, she gets teary-eyed, and I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I'm like, come here. And she's like, okay. She's like, you don't mean it, do you? I'm like, no, of course I don't mean it. I'm like, it's dialogue. And she's like, okay, I just had to make sure. So, but no, we all get like really sweet.
Breaks my heart.
No, it's sad. No, but we all kind of are in on the joke, and we all read the scripts, and we're like, this is so funny and
Yeah.
weird and crazy. But yeah, there are times where they're apologizing to me too, right?
That's true. That's
No. Oh, Kiki! Didn't have my back there.
Yeah.
No, it's all fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, Leah, Hester could not be more different from Rachel. I mean, you have lines like, you know,
Attack
I'll
my
let you
crack.
attack my crack. You know,
Yeah.
attack my crack.
Oh my God.
Think about that for a while. Has any of it sort of phased you, or are you just like, you know, are you shocked? Are you concerned about, you know, any of that?
I'm
Or-
down
yeah.
for whatever Ryan wants me to do. I will totally do it. I mean,
Yeah.
when I did read Attack My Crack, I texted Brad
Mm-hmm.
Falchuk, and I was like, I can't believe that I'm really saying this.
Yeah, yeah.
But the point with all the things that Brad and I and Ian do is for the actors to do the opposite of what they've just done. So there couldn't, Leah as Rachel is so different than Leah as Hester, which is the point.
Yeah, yeah.
To write things or have the behavior be different. That's what's interesting to us. That's why I love, you know, the anthology idea. Is because, you know, every year you get to do the opposite of what Kathy did, or Matt plays the opposite of what he did, or
Yeah.
or Sarah is the opposite. That's always really, really fun to write. It keeps us invigorated, and hopefully the
And the
actors
viewer,
invigorated.
the viewers.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
as a viewer. It's the coolest thing. It's like, oh wow, now who's playing dress up this time? It's so
Yeah.
fun, and it's your favorite actors, so
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Kiki, you and Niecy Nash are my favorite. Like that relationship.
I love Niecy. I love Niecy.
is so good. And I mean, like the fact that you both like suspect each other. I love the sort of like terrible detective work she does. First of all, but
She's a terrible detective.
yeah, terrible detective. But do you guys just crack up? I mean, are you laughing during
We
these
do.
scenes?
She and I are like planning our next 5 things together because we had seriously, it was a really cool matchup. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah.
me coming into this situation, having not done much improv before,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from her, and so it's fun. Sometimes I'll do something on the take, and she'll be like, "Dang, girl, you should have did it when the camera was on me, so I could have said something back." And I'm like, "I know, girl, damn." We have fun. It's a game for us.
Yeah. And you had some like stunt work this week. Like you did some.
You saw me on my Will Smith?
Yes.
You guys.
Yes.
I was legitimately through the roof about that. They tried to get me a stunt double, and I said if Will Smith was here, he would do it. So I put on my little suit, and I did my little
good.
roll.
No, she
Yes,
got
you were
crazy. I saw her get
But I
thrown
will
down
tell
one
you,
take, and
I
was
used
like,
the whole bag of Epsom salt that night.
You did?
Yes, my body was
She
aching.
was thrown everywhere. I at one point I was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, this is the part of the scene." I was like, "Okay, sorry."
Yeah.
She was like getting beaten up. It was crazy. It was so.
It was,
fun.
but it was worth it. I love the way it looked. I'm happy about it.
looked so
First
good.
time stunts, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, are the kappas, because Chanel gifted everyone with pink nunchucks or
Right.
nunchuck, whatever you called them, nunchakus. Does that mean we're gonna see more kind of badass lady action happening? Can
Yeah.
you tease? Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Jamie Lee has a big fight scene
Oh,
coming
yes.
up,
Oh
right?
yeah, Jamie Lee. It's Jamie Lee versus
Yeah.
2 Red Devils and Supreme Court Justice Mr. Scalia.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Which is great because Jamie Lee gets to say everything she wanted about Justice Scalia.
Yeah, I was on set for that too. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you
Yeah,
were
I was
there.
on set.
Yeah.
It was like it was not. And she actually had it. She had people film it for her husband Christopher Guest because she's like he'll love this so much because she's beating the crap out of Scalia and being like homosexual is not a people are born being homosexual it's not a choice and like she's punching him. It's great. And then she shot her mom's. She shot an homage to her mom's Psycho.
I love that.
Which is incredible. How did you guys get her to do that?
That was her idea. It was simply scripted that Dean Munch gets into the bathtub, draws the shower curtain, the Red Devil comes in, pulls the shower curtain, she's not there, she's behind, but she's the one who really came up with all of that. She spent a lot of time thinking about it, and it was her idea, and she asked, can I do this? And we said, yeah, of course, if you want to.
Yeah.
Because you never know how far with sort of Hollywood royalty you can push it.
Yeah.
But she loved it. But that's who she is as a person. She's very brave, and she wants to jump in, and she has a lot of ideas, and she's very iconic herself. So I thought it was sort of a hat on a hat, which I loved.
Yeah. What's she been like having Jamie Lee down there?
I love Jamie. She's like an auntie and a mama together.
Yeah.
She's so cool. No, seriously, she is so cool and just loving and encouraging to all of us. Like, I mean, it's good to have her around. She's a really good example.
She had us all, cast and crew, put together a video for Ryan where we all sang the Kappa Kappa Tau chant.
It's
Changing the
batshit
words.
crazy, too.
Changing the words to
It's
instead of
crazy.
I'm proud to be a KKT to I'm proud to work for Ryan Murphy.
And glad to be in his great show. We want the whole wide world to know.
And she orchestrated
It was
the whole.
so cute.
She's so great. I
Yes, she
mean,
is.
She choreographed it.
she
did.
may not come
got the dance
downstairs in sequins dresses with diamonds around her neck, but she's an incredible force and a leader for our show. She's really been so wonderful to have as really the center of our
the anchor.
cast.
Well, that for me is always the great thing, because I always go after people that I'm just fans of, and a lot of them are icons, because I am a fan.
Yeah.
So like when you get to work with Jessica or Kathy Bates or Jamie Lee Curtis or Lady Gaga, people who have this sort of mystique and reputation, and then you find that they are lovely people and not divas, and they never are anyway, but that's just a great joy to become friends with somebody that you were a fan of and get to know them as people, know what they tick, know what they like, see their good days, their bad days. That's the thing from my career that I think I'll remember and the most fondly.
Yeah. Who's like the person? Who's the one that you still haven't gotten to work with that you're just like dying to get? Who's like your white whale? Well, she's not a white because actresses are skinny. Who's like your skinny act? Like your dolphin?
I used to think about that. I really don't have that person. I don't think that way anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe Meryl.
Hello.
Meryl, honey.
Yeah.
Maybe Meryl. Maybe.
I was the president in high school. I've said this before, of the Meryl Streep fan club.
Oh my God.
And then, I said, I was.
Wait, was this a real club?
It was a real fucking club. And it was so sad. There were like 5 of us. And we would go see Sophie's Choice and then go to Denny's and then break the film down, and that was our
I love
It's a
Denny.
real
Wow.
club. So, but I got
Wow.
to meet her
really?
and tell her in person what a nerd I was, and she was so nice. And obviously, her daughter has been on American Horror Story. So, she's another one that's just as great as you think she is.
Yeah.
But she's probably her.
Yeah. I think you should. I mean, you went to on Instagram. You guys showed this photo. You went to Barbara Streisand's house. I would
We did.
like. I would like you to work with Barbara Streisand.
You would?
Yes.
Y'all together.
That would be like gay universe exploding. That would just be like maybe just my own brain would just
Yeah, that was an evening that was literally like jaw-dropping for me.
Did you go in the mall? Did you go through the little
Well, the
mall?
amazing thing was John set it up.
I literally can't hear this. I'm getting upset.
Well, yes,
I'm so mad I wasn't invited that night.
yeah, so we had dinner with, Barbara and Jim and Kelly and John and Gaga and I. That's the only people that were invited. It was
Thank you.
weird. And then after dinner, she said, "Do you want to see the mall?" And Gaga and I were out of that chair. And we went down to the mall and we spent an hour in that mall. And she pulled out her collection of gowns from Funny Girl and Hello Dolly. And then she said, "Do you want frozen yogurt?" So we went to the frozen yogurt.
Just fake.
It was amazing.
There's a frozen yogurt?
There is a frozen yogurt room in the mall.
Like a Pinkberry?
Yes,
Who operates it? Does someone work down there?
she does.
Oh, she does.
She asked what toppings we wanted. It was like,
This is the greatest thing I've heard in my life.
it was amazing.
I don't even know what to
truly
say.
amazing.
That is.
I could write a
wow.
whole book about that night.
What kind of toppings do you want?
We talked about everything.
Like, what did you get? What toppings did you get? Is the frozen yogurt at Barbara Streisand's mall basement? Is it good?
It was delicious.
I bet.
It was.
I bet.
It was so, but it's. Come on. She had a mall,
Yeah.
but she could not have been. She's the reason I'm gay. I've said it before. The first movie I saw at 4 years old was Funny Girl. So my mother took me to see Funny Girl. It was the first movie I had seen, and I looked up at the screen, and I thought to myself, "That's me." Meaning that I knew that I was different, and she was different, and yet she was being celebrated, and I thought, I want to be myself and be loved. And that's what
That's what it's
Barbara
about.
was, and that's what she did.
And that's what it's about.
So I have had I had a thing with her. My mother and I, one of our few connections was about our love of Barbara. And so to get to meet her and tell her what she meant to me, as I'm sure a million gay people have, but it was important to me, and she was very sweet about it. She could not have been kinder. Her husband is so kind. They're lovely people,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's so wonderful.
I wish people just sometimes, people like that, icons like that, I wish people would get to know them a little bit more because they don't disappoint, and she's done so much good for the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's an amazing person.
No, totally. So now the world of TV now is so interesting. I mean, there's Netflix, there's Amazon, there's there's cable network. I mean, there's so many different outlets in different places. What is your take? I mean, you've been Popular was on the WB, which doesn't even exist anymore. I mean,
Right.
What is your take on kind of the modern TV world?
Well, I've been in the TV business since 1998, and it's changed so much because I feel like we're in the middle of a revolution that will play out in the next 2 years, and I have, conversations about it a lot with the powers that be. And I think the interesting thing now is it used to be that the Nielsen ratings would come out and you were a hit or a bomb, you knew instantly. But in the past 5 years, even since American Horror Story has started, that world is different. People don't want to be told, watch now. They want to watch when they want to watch. Young people are not going to show up, I think, at a particular time for something because they know they can watch it whenever they want to. And what we're seeing now in TV that I find fascinating is the live rating for stuff that is geared towards young people, which my stuff pretty much is. Sometimes it's 75% more than what a live rating is. And what I'm fascinated by is if you look at American Horror Story last year, which ended its run in January, between January and August, 1.5 million people watched all those episodes, and we're not counted in any metric. So that to me is fascinating. So the business is changing, I think, to adopt how do we really measure success? Like how do you find out who's watching when people are watching? And for the most part now, you can do it. Hulu can tell you exactly who's watching, what the median age is. The Nielsen thing to me seems a little bit antiquated.
Yeah.
But we're sort of figuring out that about how can you be figuring out exactly who your audience and how do you count everybody who's watching and include that in your metric for success. So that's part of the business that I wish people would be writing about and keep writing about because I think the numbers are interesting and they're much more, wide-reaching than people think.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you guys have TVs in your homes, or do you watch everything on
My computer.
your computer?
Yeah. I watch everything on my computer, and I think you're really good at integrating the newer things that make people excited. Like I think social media, in addition to Scream Queens, the hashtags, the GIFs, all that stuff, it all is changing. We're in a big transition because the millennials today are not at all.
They're not sitting down at 8 o'clock to come home and watch a show. They're watching it
When they want, yeah.
even on their phone sometimes. I know I do.
But even like on a big, wide company like Fox is no longer saying, catch up. Catch up has been a phrase we've been saying in the past 2 years, catch up. That doesn't work anymore. What we're saying now is watch when you want to watch it and trying to figure out, okay, then how many months do you measure? How are you including that? How do you get advertisers to invest more in streaming? That is a big thing that I'm involved in a lot because that's important. And I think in the next 5 years, that whole business, the business that we look at today will be thought of as a dinosaur,
Yeah.
Much
It's
in the
rapid,
same way that the
fast-paced.
music industry
Yeah.
changed like that.
Yeah.
I think the TV industry is changing like that.
Speaking of TV, you have a character on a horror story called The Countess. You also have a character named Ramona. And
What
then
a
on
coincidence.
And then on Scream Queens, Ariana Grande's character's name is Sonia. Are these direct homages to The Real Housewives of New York?
No,
Oh my God, I just got
it's
that.
really not, although
I know, right?
I watch those shows.
Of course you do. We
Those
love
shows
them.
are my baby Einstein, those shows.
Yeah.
I go
what do
home
you
and I
mean
put on my
no?
Housewives
Yes.
and chill out, but I guess maybe subconsciously I did that.
Okay.
It was not, it was not,
I love that.
it was not a pure motivation, but I could see how it could seep into my dark dreams.
By the
I
way,
can see
on
it.
set, I say
Kiki.
Emma at heart is Nene Leakes, and she says I'm what?
You're Yolanda from Beverly Hills.
She says I'm Yolanda.
Oh,
Who's
Lemon.
My daughter apparently is Gigi Hadid.
Oh, I love
that?
it. Yeah.
I want to be Yolanda.
Oh, I love it.
all day. Who are you? Who's Leah?
I don't know.
Who's Leah?
Guys,
A Virgo. Somewhere being a Virgo.
I feel like Leah's Carol Radswell.
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
Done.
Okay.
I will take it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
bad.
My favorite of them all is Shannon Bedore. She's the one.
Oh, love.
When did Shannon Bedore suddenly became like the voice of reason?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all those.
Yeah.
It's like, how
It's
did
all
it,
those.
Sorry, Abby Shannon Bedore.
Sorry.
We got Abby
Shannon
Prislin.
Bedore. Chanel number 5 is Shannon
Well, it's all
Bedore.
those. Shannon Bedore's wine. It's all those colonics. She just keeps.
She's fascinating.
I know.
to me.
Anyways, I have a question too for you. So in this day and age, everyone's about like rebooting. Shows like Heroes got rebooted. Would you ever reboot like Nip Tuck
definitely Bethany.
or Popular?
Please.
Now if you've had something that's, been a success, and Popular in its day was not a success. Time caught up with that show. It was considered a big flop. My career had a lot of trouble for 2 years after that show.
That's crazy because it's so beloved. I mean, people just love that show.
That was at the beginning of something in our culture that the straight, white, 60-year-old executive at the time did not get.
It was my favorite show growing up. It was my AOL password for about 5 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's so dope. AOL.
I loved it.
Dial up.
I would do Nip Tuck again, and I would not write it, but I would get cool writers to do it. I think I would redo that show now with 2 women. As the 2 plastic surgeons who were dealing with that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it with the 2 guys.
Okay.
But yeah, people have talked to me about that. That I would never run it or do it, but I would sort of grandfather it, I suppose. Because
Yeah.
the thing that I miss about that show is the cases. I love the weird case of the week that were,
Yes.
99.9% based on real stuff. I miss that. I love that. So I would do that.
Yeah, I love Famke Janssen in season 2. I love
She's
her character.
great.
Ava, she's the best. So this week on American Horror Story, the kind of the cliffhanger was Donovan feeding his mother Iris his blood. So what can you? I mean, does that mean? I know. It was. Does that mean that Kathy Bates is now a vampire?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And,
course.
I mean, Kathy, you've never played a vampire. What's that like?
Just in my heart.
Yeah. Wow. So
It's some, yeah. You just wait.
what does that blood taste like?
Corn syrup
Okay. All right. Ooh,
It's gross and sticky and messy and
yeah.
Sweet.
and
Yeah.
sweet.
yeah.
And you and Ramona, Angela Bassett, you guys kind of team up, right? And start getting more friendly,
Yes,
if you
I
will.
think Donovan will do whatever it takes to get back into the Countess's world, get her
Yeah.
attention. Yeah.
And how is that working with Angela? Because you guys didn't have any scenes on Freak Show.
No, we didn't. I adore her. I think she's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
She's hot.
She's so hot.
So hot.
Oh my God,
It's
she's
crazy.
so hot. She's so
She's
hot.
incredibly hot, but she's even more talented as an
Yeah.
actress, and I adore watching her.
Yeah.
Even the time when she tased me at first, I literally fell to my ground and was looking up at her to see what she was going to do as this character in her big entrance. But I just love her, and her character is so bold, and she really digs into it. So
Yeah. And you guys are about to shoot the final episode, right, of Scream Queens?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
We got episode 13
Yeah.
yesterday, and the final act is missing.
And they
Ryan
always do that
Murphy.
to us.
Well, wait, so when are you going to give them the final act?
On the
When
day
are
we
you gonna
shoot.
give us?
Day-
once this press conference is over.
Well, that's one of those things now with social media that you have to, I think, protect the ending. So we have it written, we just have not handed it out.
Okay.
But we've written 2 versions.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh
we'll
my
probably.
God. Right, he sat upstairs telling me all this stuff, and now he waited to get down
Have
here
you
to tell me
not
it's 2
seen
innings.
There's
What
a,
is real and what's fake? It's just so we don't
there's,
know.
like if you read Twitter, there's a
Right.
Brazil Scream Queens.
Right.
Somebody leaks Brazil Scream Queens all of our stuff.
Oh yeah, Brazil. Brazil
They
Scream
have-
Queens
yeah, so-
account.
Oh, wow. Oh.
They
It's
find
called
out
Brazil
everything.
Scream Queens, and they have.
I'm like, "Oh,
I don't know, but that's what they're called. But they have pages within an hour, so we think it's somebody on our crew who leaks stuff. So yeah, you have to watch it.
Someone that goes by Brazil Scream Queens? That sounds crazy. That sounds nuts. What's happening?
Kiki's come undone.
She thought she knew
come
something,
undone.
and now she's like,
I
wait.
something. Now I'm having a nervous breakdown.
Oh, dear. Oh, man.
Handle it.
So we should also say you have American Crime Story, which starts
Yeah.
in early
February.
2016. Tell everyone a little bit about that, because that's really interesting.
That was a really great, weird thing in my career where I had just finished The Normal Heart, and I said to my agent, Joe Cohen, I just want to read something really great that can't be made. What's the best scripts out there that cannot be made? And he said, I know exactly what they are. And he sent me the first 2 scripts of a miniseries about the O.J. Simpson trial that were written by Larry and Scott, who did The People versus Larry Flint, and Ed Wood. And then I found out that it had been set up at the Fox network, but it was never going to be made at the Fox network. It was far too adult. So I just read it and loved it as a fan, and I called up Nina and Brad, who are the producers, and said, how do we get this made? And they said, we don't know, we're floundering. So I made a couple calls, and John Landgraf had ironically had a stake of ownership in the scripts, but was not making them. And he and I had been talking for a long time about spinning American Horror Story off and doing an American crime story. Every year there's a new crime. So within 2 weeks it was greenlit. And then we spent, as I like to do, 6 months casting it. And I just went after people that I never thought would do it, like John Travolta, and on
He's
and on
so
and on.
good,
And-
too.
Huge one.
Yeah, you've seen some episodes.
Yeah, and Sarah Paulson is like, she's always like, she's just so incredible. She's so incredible this year on Hotel, but like this, I would say I've never seen her like this before. It's really like, it's extraordinary.
Well, the interesting thing about Sarah doing that show is she and Marcia Clark have become really close.
Yeah.
Like I've gone out drinking with Marcia Clark, y'all. It's amazing.
Your life is so crazy.
It is amazing. David and I had dinner with Marcia and Sarah, and it's an amazing story. And what I love about it is the themes in the OJ piece are so topical today.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so we finish our last day of shooting is Wednesday, and
Wow.
it comes on in February.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So Evan Peters recently gave an interview, and he said that he would like to see next season of American Horror Story in space.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I get really confused by that idea because it's called American Horror Story, and then it would be like what, intergalactic horror story? Or,
yeah.
I guess if you were in the
Intergalactic.
immediate airspace above our country, you could do it.
Yeah, maybe if you launched in America, like if you're in the spaceship and it's in America initially, and then you're in
Yeah.
space, it's technically still America. I don't know. There's
I don't
some
know,
geographic issues.
I don't know what you would. I don't know how.
Would you ever
would
do a
film that.
continuation of American Horror Story Season 1?
No. No.
I always wondered
The
that.
joy of that, the joy of American Horror Story for me is you get to build it up and then you burn it down, and
Yeah.
no matter how attached you are,
That's so hurtful.
you know, that's I feel like why people love it. But there are things of season 1 that are coming into this season that will come into next season. So characters that you know loved.
I love
Go to the house from
Naomi's
season 1.
story.
Yeah.
They go.
And she sees
They've been in the.
the Life
They were shooting that.
magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I love
Yeah, so we like to do things like that, but
Very cool.
but I feel like believe you me, I've been really attached to those seasons. I did not want the Coven season to end, which is sort of how
yes, great.
Scream Queens happened because I love that tone of it.
I loved Coven.
But I don't know. I get why Evan likes that. I understand that because it is. I think Aliens is so scary and yeah.
Do you know? Can I ask? Do you know what you want in mind for true crime and horror story next year? Do you go into these things with your ideas, like of you
Yeah.
know what the seasons you want them to be?
I have 2 ideas for both. I have one idea that got approved for Scream Queens for next year that everybody loves. So yeah. Sorry.
Only Kiki doesn't know, don't tell her.
16.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, but you know, I do. But I think the way that those shows work is you have to have a year-long lead time to
Yeah.
build the sets, to
Yeah.
sometimes control the intellectual property in the case of Crime Story. Yeah.
What about, there was always that talk, or there was rumors that you and Leah would do Funny Girl on Broadway. Is that gonna happen someday?
Yes.
I don't know. I
there
don't know
hope
how
for
you
that?
feel about it. I feel like
How do you feel about Funny Girl, Leah?
that in many we had talked about it for sure, but then I feel like we did so many of those songs and so many of those scenes that in a weird way I feel like we did it.
We did
like in
it.
some
Okay, yeah.
way. Although I've always been interested in doing Broadway stuff. I'm doing my first Broadway thing in
Congratulations.
January. Jessica's
awesome.
doing. So I don't know. Never say never. I mean, we talked about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's not on my docket right now.
Okay. Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming
Is
to
it
the first.
done? That's
yeah,
it?
that's it. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. We just, but thank you guys so much for coming to the first EW Fest. We really appreciate it. Look, it's so crowded. This is the most crowded it's been
fun.
here. And yeah, but thank you guys all for coming too.
Thank you.